Imagine discovering the largest gold deposit in the world. Now imagine that gold never actually existed. That's exactly what happened in one of the biggest mining scandals of all time, where fortunes were made and lost in the blink of an eye. Today, we're diving deep into a story that's part thriller, part mystery, and all true. It's the Bre-X mining scandal, a tale of deception, greed, and fool's gold. But the real kicker? This isn't just a story about a company. It's also the story of one man who helped pull off one of the greatest frauds in history. The year is 1993, and a small Canadian mining company called Bre-X Minerals is about to make headlines around the world. Bre-X Minerals was founded by David Walsh, a Canadian businessman and oil and gas entrepreneur. He founded Bre-X as a subsidiary of his original mining company, Berja Resources Limited, which he founded back in 1984 with his wife. Walsh was originally a stockbroker, which means he had little experience in the mining industry. Still, he was a good businessman. Even when he was struggling to keep Bre-X afloat, he decided to invest personal funds in the company instead of declaring bankruptcy. But after several years, Walsh and his wife were drowning in debt. To prevent his company from completely crashing, he founded Bre-X Minerals in 1988. Even though the subsidiary was founded from Walsh's basement, he wanted to make it big by focusing on diamond expeditions in the northwestern territories of the Canadian mountains. Unfortunately, just a year after Bre-X's creation, it seemed like the company was headed down a path of bankruptcy. In true businessman fashion, Walsh wasn't ready to give up just yet. He shifted the company's focus from local diamond exploration to foreign gold expeditions after taking advice from an old associate, John B. Felderhoff. Felderhoff was a Canadian geologist and mining expert, and it seemed like Felderhoff managed to make a larger fortune by mining than Walsh had ever dreamed of. At this point in time, Felderhoff was also credited for unearthing the largest natural gold reserve in Papua New Guinea. So when Felderhoff pitched an idea about exploring a gold reserve hidden deep in the Indonesian jungle, Walsh jumped on the opportunity. Little did he know that the same gold reserve would end up bringing the downfall of his company. Felderhoff claimed that he had been working in the Indonesian high forest for several years, and Walsh believed his intel about a gold site near the Busong River. Greedy for gold, Walsh bought the property near the Busong in Borneo, Indonesia in April 1993. Next, the pair added another key member to their team, Michael de Guzman, a renowned Filipino geologist and longtime friend. De Guzman became the new project manager for the site, and Bre-X Minerals began excavation and drilling immediately. Before Bre-X Minerals got there, around 10 other companies had already surveyed the land and labeled it as worthless. Even when Walsh had his doubts about this hidden gold reserve, de Guzman and Felderhoff were confident that they would strike gold. Drilling went on as scheduled, but the first drill was a bust. Then, even the second drill turned out to be a complete failure. At this point, Walsh was ready to pull the plug, but de Guzman insisted on giving the land a third try. Apparently, he knew the precise spot they needed to drill. The location had come to him in a dream. Then, on one fine morning in 1994, Bre-X makes an announcement that changes their fate forever. It turns out that they've found gold, and lots of it, exactly where de Guzman had pinpointed. We're talking about one of the largest gold discoveries ever, an estimated 70 million ounces, which was worth billions of dollars. The world goes crazy. Investors start throwing money at Bre-X, and the company's stock price skyrockets, from pennies to hundreds of dollars per share. Suddenly, Bre-X is the talk of Wall Street, Bay Street, and every other street where money's made. But here's the catch: there was no gold. And the man at the heart of the deception was none other than Michael de Guzman himself. But how did he do it? How did one man manage to deceive not just Bre-X's executives, but the entire global mining industry? For that, we'll have to get into the nitty-gritty. De Guzman was responsible for collecting and analyzing the core samples from the Busong site, and this is where the scam begins. When de Guzman insisted that the exact location had come to him in a dream, all he had actually come up with was a plan that would make him a billionaire. On the third drilling attempt, de Guzman didn't report what was really there. Instead, he started salting the samples. In other words, he added gold from other sources to the samples, making it appear as though Busang was sitting on a treasure trove. Now, here's the thing. He wasn't just sprinkling a little bit of gold dust here and there. We're talking about a sophisticated operation where gold shavings from jewelry and panned gold from nearby rivers were mixed into the samples. The reports were then sent back to Bre-X's headquarters, where they were used to create over-the-top estimates of the site's potential. Now, you might be wondering, how did this get past everyone? How did no one catch on? Well, the 90s were a different time. The gold market was hot, and everyone wanted a piece of the next big find. Bre-X, with its rags-to-riches story of a massive gold deposit in a virtually untouched part of the world, was the perfect investment opportunity. Big banks, pension funds, and even average investors were pouring money into Bre-X, all driven by the fear of missing out. Bre-X's executives, including CEO Walsh, were more than happy to ride this wave. With just one announcement of striking gold, Walsh went from declaring personal bankruptcy to a darling of the media, hailed as a mining genius. But behind the scenes, the pressure was mounting. Everything depended on Bre-X managing to keep the golden illusion alive, and for that, they relied on de Guzman's fake samples and falsified reports. But all good things, or in this case, all scams, must come to an end. By 1997, Bre-X was valued at nearly $6 billion, and the company was on the verge of signing a major deal with Indonesia's Suharto family to begin mining operations. But the cracks were starting to show. Independent audits were being requested, and other mining companies that were supposed to partner with Bre-X were getting suspicious. At this point, all the pressure was on de Guzman to produce even more convincing results. And that's when it all started to unravel. On March 19, 1997, everything changed. Michael de Guzman was scheduled to meet with auditors who were looking to verify Bre-X's claims. But instead of facing the music, de Guzman boarded a helicopter in the Indonesian jungle. It was a journey he'd made several times before, to a place where he himself found the gold. But this time, de Guzman never made it to the location. 20 minutes into the journey, de Guzman fell, either jumped or was pushed, from the helicopter to his death. His body was later found mutilated and decomposing in the jungle, with many speculating that he may have faked his death to escape the scandal. But the official story? Suicide. Walsh announced that de Guzman had taken his own life after being diagnosed with hepatitis B and fighting recurring malaria. But what's the real story? Well, it's said that de Guzman, under the immense pressure of keeping up the charade, chose to end his life rather than face the inevitable fallout. However, the mystery around his death is still one of the most intriguing aspects of the Bre-X scandal. Was it really suicide? Or was it something more sinister? After de Guzman's death, things fell apart quickly. An independent investigation revealed the shocking truth. There was no gold at Busang. The entire gold deposit had been fabricated. Bre-X's stock price plummeted, wiping out billions of dollars in market value almost overnight. Investors were left holding the bag, with many losing their life savings. Walsh, the man who once rode high on the success of Bre-X, became a pariah. He fled to the Bahamas, where he died of a brain aneurysm in 1998, just a year after the scandal broke. Felderhoff ended up facing legal battles for years, but he was ultimately acquitted of insider trading charges in 2007. The Bre-X scandal didn't just destroy a company. It shattered lives, ruined reputations, and led to sweeping changes in the mining industry. New regulations were put in place to prevent such a scam from happening again, but the damage was already done. The name Bre-X became synonymous with greed, deception, and the dark side of human nature. So what's the legacy of the Bre-X scandal? It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked greed and the importance of due diligence. It's a reminder that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And it's the story of Michael de Guzman, a man who masterminded one of the greatest frauds in history, only to pay the ultimate price. But perhaps the most intriguing part of it all, we may never know the full truth. Did de Guzman act alone? Or was there a larger conspiracy at play? Did he really die in that jungle? Or did he manage to escape with a fortune? The answers to these questions are lost to history, leaving us with a mystery that continues to haunt us to this very day. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most shocking true crimes. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.